Okay, here we go. I am about to go live with the great Jenny Lee, and as everybody who knows me knows, I'm like not the most technologically inclined person in the whole entire universe. So I'm waiting for Jenny. This is the second time she's tutored me on Restream, and let's see what happens now. Okay, here's Jenny. All right, Jenny. All right, so
Left.
there you are. Are you on?
I'm on. Yeah, you can hear me.
I can hear you now. How come you're not showing up on the presentation?
I
Ay.
I don't know where you're.
Okay, there you are.
Okay. Are
Okay.
you live now?
Yeah.
It says you're live.
Yep. I don't know how. Okay, Jenny, you're the greatest coach because let me tell you, you know that I'm like not a total techno genius. Let's just say that.
Well, a lot of us that are intuitive, we're not like that. We're in the spiritual realm, and we're not the tech person. Some of them are, but we're not.
I know I'm like, more organic, not technical. What can I say?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, Jenny, welcome.
Hey.
Thanks for coming on. Let me get my glasses. Just in case I need them. My pad. Hey. All right. So,
Cool.
all right, let me just get my sketch. Well, my sketch pad is over there. Hang on.
On.
Huh. All right. So, I'm back. Hey, Jenny.
Hey. The energy today, I don't know, man. It's different.
All right, let's talk about like what it is. What's
I don't
happening
know.
right now?
Today, yesterday was different. Today, there was. I think it was more. It was okay this morning, but this afternoon, you can tell there's an edge to it.
Yeah, like you've been saying this for like the last few weeks, that there's a definite edge. Now, and I definitely feel it too. It feels like really thick. What are you feeling?
Well, right now it does feel thick. It feels like it's not moving and rotating.
Right?
So, yeah, it's a different feeling right now. And some what I notice is some people's lower vibration.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like it's starting to bother you more. You know what I'm saying? And everybody won't say that, but I'm going to tell them. I'm going to say it because it's just where you didn't recognize it before. So there's certain frequencies of voices that are just starting to um, annoy me.
Okay, so what about that? I mean, because there seems to me like a low high frequency
But it's
within.
always the ones that I'm dealing with on the 3D. It's not. It's like we're. I'm starting to wonder. Think about the higher dimension um, beings, how they can get annoyed with us in different ways because of that vibration, and I'm starting to understand how it feels a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Okay.
it's a distraction that I'm seeing that the 3D people, they're distracted into what they're doing, and it's oblivious, and so I can see why that bothers the higher energy. So but we're starting to go through it in a different way of being disturbed by it. So I'm just saying maybe they're giving us a taste of it, what they have been dealing with, or we're feeling it.
So, okay, let me ask. So are you talking about the higher energy spirit. Is that what you mean?
Well, what I'm going to give an example is,
Okay.
say 3 years ago, where people always ask, well, why don't spirit come down? Why don't they stay on this realm? And it's just like, because it's a lower vibration. But what I'm saying is, we are ascending, and now we are feeling a different energy that bothers us, the ones that are awake, from the 3D that we're around. So we are extremely avoiding them, extremely across the board. Because before you're in a room, you know it's going to bother you. It's changing.
So, in other words, okay, let's say a few years ago, right? When the shit really started hitting the fan.
Right.
Right? Like 2020, right? There were some who were awake, who were trying to talk to people about what was really going on.
Right.
Now it's just like 4 years later, there is an impatience. Is that what you're kind of
Right. But what it is the people that have done the work, have working on themselves, we're outgrowing this vibration. We're outgrowing, and we're tuning into other vibrations. That's what I'm sensing.
I definitely I'm sensing that myself. I'm definitely feeling incredibly impatient.
Right.
And
So
yeah.
it's not that we're being like non-sympathetic or anything like that. It's just changing in the vibration of things. So, I mean, going to the store or doing anything it's like a landmine that you have to figure out before you get there, and how you're going to exit the whole situation. That's what I'm seeing happen.
I definitely am seeing that too, and I'm feeling it, and I'm feeling like, before I used to always put like a bubble of white protective light around me, and then cover that with a mirror sphere, so whatever energies sent to me is reflected back, so it doesn't affect me.
Right.
I forgot that for a while, and now I'm like, I'm not going out unless I have that protection around me, because I definitely feel like there's a franticness in the air, and I do feel that this impatience thing, like a loss of breath a lot. Do you feel that? Yeah. Like a
you're like, why am I going to put myself in this environment? Why is it feeling uncomfortable? And then it almost feels like when you're talking to the 3D, their voice is slowing down in a very slow motion. That is what I'm noticing too. It's different. Everything with them feels like it's slowing down, slow motion stuff, and we're getting at a point that we're seeing things in a fast pace and a fast communication. So all I'm saying is these lower ones are not even awake. I can sense it and feel it. It's almost like a veil, such a limited veil, that you're sensing that veil instinctively, quick.
I definitely feel that, and I feel. I also think you're right about somebody here is divine illumination 333. I agree with Jenny. I've had to set solid boundaries. Yes, this is a time where we can't fake it anymore. Yep. Yeah.
So it's like that thing that Spirit says, either say what you need to say and get out of the energy. Don't sit in that energy, because it's just going to sit in your soul and you're going to feel that impacting. And that's what we're doing. So we have to either recognize it, identify it, speak it, or get out of it immediately.
Right, because it's not, at this point, it's not about engaging anymore.
Right. It's not.
Yeah.
It is, because I'll tell you why, because we're not getting any value by interacting with the 3D anymore.
Exactly. And you know what? It's like a waste of time
Mm-hmm.
and energy to argue,
Well,
to have
yeah.
the arguments, to have,
I don't think people they're stopped doing that. They're not even trying anymore because they're like they've already made their choice.
mm-hmm.
So that's not even I'm pulling away from that. I'm seeing other people pull away from that. They're just like, it's okay. I'm just going to sit it out and wait.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a almost like a shutdown stage that we're going into, that they're putting in us in and already dividing us
Mm-hmm.
in that stage. I mean, it's almost like the 3D can go mingle and do what they need to do during the day. And I guarantee you, if you have that for a different level for at night for the 5D people, they would do it. If they were just mingling between 5D people in a public format, they would go at night and do it. I'm just telling you.
Like they would mingle with us, you mean?
Well, if they had day and night and
Mm-hmm.
they set a rule that the 3Ds are able to mingle and go do what they need to do during the day
Mm-hmm.
and interact with each other and build that friction, be fine. We had a choice, and it's already seeing this happening. 5D people rather be at night where there's no people around and be able to go to the store without any problems with energy.
So, okay, I do. So it's really, and I feel this too, it's like you really want to protect your, we're talking about energy right now,
Right.
frequency.
Because you have to preserve your own, and
Mm-hmm.
there the 3D is consuming what we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so draining.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's hard to be around them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really hard to be around. Okay. Like I've noticed like vampirism, like psychic vampire, like kind of like people sort of like, like energetically just like,
Yes.
you know, sucking your like energy.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like even, you know, conversations about like certain red flags. And it's like, I just feel like it's really important to stay in the light and communing with spirit and not dealing with like whatever like distractions or bullshit is going on around us. And that could be people too that are sort of like engaging or trying
Right.
to antagonize,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
And
easy to
you're just
fall.
trying to stay a clear path,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to, get things done that you need to get done, but, just completely not being attacked,
Mm-hmm.
drained, or
Mm-hmm.
emotionally affected.
You know what's interesting, Jen? When you say that, when you talk about that, it's kind of like I envision us walking in like a psychic minefield, and it's like be careful where you step, right? Because you don't want to get
Right.
sucked into like a black hole of blob.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yes. That's the problem. And it just
Yeah.
feels we are going through these mind mind fucks. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're preserving our energy and our everything. We just want peace, 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 peace. I can tell you, people that are awake, it's just a peaceful outlet to get to a task, get it done without any chaos. That's what we want. No problem. But then when we run into people, we just go, oh no, we know it's coming, and that's the thing. It's just like, no,
Exactly. Jeep is here, by the way.
I know. It's
Hi,
great.
Jeep.
It's great.
Douglas, Mandy. Divine
So,
illumination. Just saying hi to everybody. Thanks for all your comments. We're getting a lot of comments. Cedar Rose. All right. So, yeah. Here's the thing. Like, somebody once said to me, and I think this is really true, there are two types of people in the world, right? Those
mhm.
who want to be left alone and those who won't leave the people who want to be left alone alone. What do you think about that?
There are.
I know. Well, I know what category we fall into.
Well, I mean, it's just okay. You can feel the negative faster, where
Hmm.
it used to take time to
Hmm.
feel impact, and you can feel it instinctively quick, and like
Oh
boom, I'm
yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
So
It's totally. It's like a it's like a wind of negative bullshit hitting you right in the face. It's like
right,
shitstorm. Whereas before we used to be walking around in oblivious and not oblivion. Well, maybe oblivion, but totally oblivious to like what's going on now. It's like, all right, get me out of here.
right. That's the thing. It's just affecting us different, and we can't keep ignoring it. We have to be aware what it's
Hmm.
doing.
Right. So, so what do you? So we can't keep ignoring it. We have to be aware. We got to set boundaries. What else do we do?
We do what we're doing now is avoiding it, and when we're waiting for this enlightened energy to change it,
Mm-hmm.
to give us an extra frequency that just pushes that barrier away from it in a different process,
Mm-hmm.
because it's moving it instantly. But I feel like they know that we need that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna We're not going to come out of our houses. Like, no,
Well, let me ask.
leave a package at the door.
I mean, there's a part of me that, like, here, do you have this battle with yourself too? It's kind of like sometimes I don't want to leave my house. And then sometimes I'm like, well, most times I don't want to leave, but
Right,
yeah. And then like something happens where you have to stand up. Well, that's the other thing. We do have to stand up for ourselves and for what's right.
right,
For spirit. Like that's what we're always going to do because we're warriors, right? That's what
right.
we do, right? But in terms of like engaging with the negative, it's just better to, if you don't have to fight the battle, just don't engage and like leave it there.
Right.
So
Right.
there's like different ways of dealing with different situations.
Well, I don't go anywhere without a stone in my pocket now. Anywhere.
What stone do you carry?
Well, I use a pink quartz,
Mm-hmm.
just to when I'm having to stay in one position and just rub it or move the energy, or um, I'll tell you what disturbs people, and you know this. There's the person in the line
Mm-hmm.
that where they took forever. Now it seems like it's another whole taking forever to get things done. They are literally in their own world, and your energy is just like, I can only take it for so long, and you're seeing people just leave. They can't handle it.
Yeah.
You were trying to put two different worlds of two different frequencies in the same place. It's not going to work. One's going to outgrow the other.
So what is going to happen? Are we talking about bifurcation at this point? Do you think that is what?
I think there has to be a energy pushed into our world
Mm-hmm.
that kind of charges us in a different way now,
Mm-hmm.
that we can coexist and get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a instant recharge that we need. That's what I think has to happen.
I also think, like, I agree with you. And I think it's important to make sure we take care of ourselves, right? Stay in nature. Like, I know this is be with the people we love, do what we love, and come from the heart always, and just, service to
Others.
others. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important, and just to stay high vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, somebody's saying I had to give up my family the choice to evolve up and meet me, and my energies or evolve out of my life. Either way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, that family is a whole other animal.
Yeah. Well, there's always avoiding it, and there's always keeping away from it and not being around it, not interacting with it. So, I mean, some of us have made arrangements so we're not around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I think, staying high vibe is like totally crucial.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
what?
we're gonna. I'm just expecting something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, to kind of change that a little bit, the energy.
So, what are you expecting? What do you think? What do you mean?
Well, I'm expecting an energy that's more of a warmness that um, rejuvenates us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do, as in 5D, we need that rejuvenation process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big time.
So, when will that? Is that something that's going to come in? How?
It has to be soon because you can only survive off a certain frequency and the level for a certain amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to get worse if they don't do anything about it.
So, Jenny, what do you see happening like right now? It just seems like, again, we're in the middle of conflict out there.
I see the matrix breaking down in a way that you're seeing a lot of things fall from the sky.
All right. Like, what do you see? Like, are we talking the blue?
Well, I'm talking about,
What else? What are you seeing?
planes, trains, and automobiles just freezing, just not moving. And you're just like, this isn't normal for this to just happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
to break down to the system, I'm putting lotion
Mm-hmm.
on dry, uh, is you have to watch it break down.
Mm-hmm.
Something that normally is supposed to be moving, it's going to just stop, or you're going to start seeing them, the 3D people, just completely freeze. And you're just like, how does this happen? How do they just freeze like this and not move?
Right.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting? Like, when you were talking about planes and what happened with Delta and what is it, crowd strike or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
there's some, but I think there's more to come. I don't think that this is the last one. But I also talked about a white building that's big.
You did.
Yeah, so I'm expecting, and that feels like it's not like a fire, it's like kaboom, gone
Mm-hmm.
type of situation. Obliviated.
Mm-hmm.
Completely gone. So it's interesting.
So you feel that happening.
Yes.
What's interesting to me, like, to me, the whole thing with like the airline and crowd strike happening, that was I knew that was intentional, like when it happened, and you talked about the planes, like
Right.
you warned us. You said that something was going to happen, and then also it's like tied to Microsoft, etc. Blah blah blah. You talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh no, that was not intentional. You don't know what you're talking about." Right? And then you're like, "Well, okay, I said what I said," and it's like those who have ears, right?
Right.
Right. So, okay, we just keep moving right along. We have our eyes open. We're listening. We hear. We know what's happening. We keep moving along, and we just protect our energy and put the love out there and set our boundaries and focus on our intention and live our lives to the best of all our best way we possibly can.
Right.
Connect with we connect with each other and not live in fear, but
Right.
just be aware. So right.
It is very much being awake and aware.
Yeah. It's about very much being awake and aware. I mean,
so you just have to get to a different understanding with it now.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm hearing more and more about like Atlantis and Antarctica and all, and there's like, it seems like that whole thing is like coming more and more into like
The surface.
Yeah, the surface, which is not, you were talking about that. So do you see anything happening about that, or what are your thoughts?
Well, and that's the whole thing about the waters.
Right.
Like everything, I think, is changing to an energy frequency that everything that moves now has an energy frequency in it.
Right.
So, like Japan, as I was talking about that earthquake, and I'm expecting something to show up on the coastline of Japan now, because they said the earthquake would watch the beaches. So I'm waiting for that to show me what it's supposed to surface. And then the storms, I feel like that it's not just a normal storm, that there's an energy above. So everything, I think, has an energy in it now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel.
Okay. I feel you're right. I took a walk today on the beach, and there were like, I noticed like big clusters of birds that I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Big clusters, and they gather and then they fly off, but it's like a lot of them, and I wonder what that was about. It was kind of weird. Like I haven't seen that. I just wonder what's going on with like nature.
So a big cluster of birds.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the whales and stuff like that, they're, it's when energy's off, or they're trying to protect something, or they're trying to protect an area.
Mm-hmm.
Or again, the sun, how it's not been the same sun, and so you're trying to survive in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that are going on. So that's why I'm saying they said to pay attention to animals, how they're reacting. If they're aggressive towards us or trying to create a balance that's new.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole thing right now is nature and animals are reacting to what's going on. They're in tune to it faster than we are. It's not that phase where like everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. No, we're not going to be fine for a while. It has to change.
Right. It makes me think about, did you hear this? Remember that big tsunami like 15 years ago, whenever that was? Like in 2015. All the animals, right? The people were on the beach and all the animals ran, but the people were left there on the beach and they got hit by that tremendous tsunami because it's like the animals knew, but humanity like totally lost its instinct, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
they have their phones up their ass. Sorry, but that's probably what the issue is.
That is exactly what the issue is. That's exactly what the issue is.
The phone is not telling me to go anywhere.
Right. The phone is like, telling me to like somebody's dinner that they took pictures of last night. Like, that's awesome.
I was watching an ad that had people in a train and they're just looking at their phone smiling, and the whole world is just blowing up and they're just in their phone.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
But that's your younger.
Yeah.
That is your younger generation right now too.
And
They're not paying attention to anything that's going on.
yeah. I mean, do you think the world is like on fire right now?
Yeah, inside out. It's changing and shifting and developing, but we're still worried about what type of damn lip gloss to wear, or, you know, I don't get it. It's just crazy. That's that point of pulling the cord is important. Pulling the power is so important because it'll
Hmm.
stop everything at that moment.
So what do you mean pulling the cord, pulling the
Pulling
power?
the power. So the internet power, everybody's, what they're tuned into their phones, just pulling the cord on that.
Hmm. I saw this cartoon of like, somebody like being like their phone is like connected to the wall, but it's like your phone is like it's like a leash kind of.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we are, it's like we're totally plugged in, I think, pulling the cord. So we spoke, was it yesterday, about, you were saying that everybody should have, you know, have cash and like water and what else?
Well, cash and water, those are two, I don't
Mhm.
know about because you don't know what food is anymore.
I know you don't know what food is anymore.
So a lot of us are living off soup and
What,
water.
what, yeah, like what are you eating lately?
Soup.
Soup?
Yeah. I mean, avocados, that kind of stuff, and the water. I just,
Hmm.
it's definitely hard. I've never had to look at food and debate. Is this poison or is this real food? You have to really ask yourself those questions now versus before.
You know, not only that, it's like, what about what's going on with the produce? There's no seeds in anything anymore. Like you
Right.
can't find a watermelon with seeds, and the watermelon seeds are like the healthiest thing in the
I
world.
know they were in them all the time.
Yeah. I mean, and I used to remember like crunching them. They were like
Yes.
delicious. And now like watermelons taste like water. Where's the melon in the watermelon?
Right.
Right? It's like,
Right.
remember when like tomatoes used to taste like tomatoes, now they taste like supermarket water.
Right. It's
You
changed.
know, like what do you eat? I mean,
It's that's I said, soup, salads. Uh, just not anything heavy anymore.
yeah.
I can do pasta a little bit, but that's about it. It's just I haven't touched a steak in a year and a half.
Well, I did have steak last week. I did.
I haven't touched it in a while.
Well, I eat a lot of eggs.
I tried that; it didn't work.
Really?
No, even the hard boil is like, it was like no.
Oh, I love eggs cooked in butter, but
Right.
yeah. And dates. I eat like dates, a lot of fruit, but I mean, it's weird because it's like, what air do you breathe? What food do you eat? What water do you drink? What toilet paper do you use? What do you put on what moisturizer do you use? What shampoo do you use? Like shampoo
Right.
now can like make you
Everything.
bald. It's like, and then if you get into like an electric car, you hear that's like getting into a microwave oven. So it's people are saying, yeah, my world, everything is flavorless. Yeah, animals becoming more telepathic. Thank you for your comments, everybody. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it's really good to be aware of this, and then I try not to get too like depressed over it
Well, it's just you're worried about food supply going. I'm like, yeah, this type of food supply needs to go.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so bad.
Bring on the real food. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
It's like we live in a fake world with fake food, with fake air and a fake sun, and people are like, with have fake eyebrows and fake teeth and fake nails and like
Oh,
what the fuck is real?
I know. It's so bad. It is. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. And that's the program. That's what they have pushed and have been pushing.
Yeah. That's what they've been pushing, but we don't have to buy into it.
Right. Exactly.
We make other choices and we find people who are doing things that are good for us. So we use castor oil with frankincense, essential oil as our moisturizer, right? And
Well, and then go down to money. I mean, there's just paper fake money, and now we would like to see really real gold value, hard money, this whole Bitcoin and all these XRPs, and I'm just like, Spirit's like, no. Just because someone creates something in their mind and puts a name to it doesn't mean it's real. You want to see it. You want to, look at it. You want to examine it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the theme basically is like, go for what's real.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
All of us are craving it now.
We are craving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we don't want to live in a flavorless, colorless, fake world based on bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. People are saying, I've been buying from local farmers. That's really good. Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do.
That's the best thing you can do. Support your local farmers. It's like what's going on with the farmers. Yeah. We have to support our local farmers. Make sure your water's clean.
Right. So the thing that I'm focused on is Jubilee. Jubilee. I keep hearing in my head Jubilee, So I think they basically announced that you can't be foreclosed on anymore because they double dipped the banks.
Okay.
So now it's, to me, the next process is the fact that they have to clear out the mortgages from a zero balance.
So, okay. So exactly what does that mean?
It means it's a zero balance, zero, that they don't exist.
Oh, really? So, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So clearing out the mortgages to a zero balance and they don't.
Well, they double dipped.
Okay.
So, I mean, you don't owe anything anymore. And whatever they did do, they need to pay back. So, I mean, no, like I said, no one's going to trust banks. Even the name bank, it's just they need to annihilate the whole situation. Like I said, I mean, I went and asked for money, and I tell you, the snootiest little shit I ran into. And they look at you like you're disturbing them by asking them for money that is yours.
Right. Exactly. That they're just holding on to. And but they don't even have any in the bank because they have no money. The banks are like, they act like, it takes them 10 years to get like money out of the bank.
Right.
Yeah. They have their little discussion in the back, and then one talks to another, and then they like.
And that is why we're at a point that we need the system, and then, just our, to trust the system that's the new one that's coming in, and then our personal information. So they're going to annihilate banks in the whole existence. That whole, underwriters are going to be gone. I'm telling you, underwriters are going to be gone.
Really?
There's another thing, that real estate brokers are going to be gone too.
What's going to be gone?
Real estate brokers.
Okay.
The whole form of a house and how we live and all that stuff is going to change too. We don't need them anyway. I mean, honestly, that's changing to a point that people are figuring out how to do everything themselves. I'm just telling you, these are all programs that put in front of us take part of that money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the underwriters are all about helping rob us in that process too. So they're going to be gone. So, I mean, and then, anything to do with the bar association is going to be gone. So, I mean, it's just dismantling phases.
So, okay. So then basically what's going to happen, what you think is going to happen is that people are going to take their power back and they're going to
Yes.
be more self-sufficient.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Insurance gone.
Right.
Another scam.
The insurance companies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's so many areas that it's just going to be annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
And these people that are going to the school for these degrees that they are no longer existing anymore. So
What
I think
about
that would be good right now is being in accounting. Because you have to trust someone with your assets, someone with your investments in the way that they're going to do it. I think accounting would be good, but I'm just telling you, these extra services that we really didn't need,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be gone.
Okay. So what services do you think are going to stay? Like what services?
Well, natural healing mechanisms, natural healing supplements, stuff that's natural for us,
Mm-hmm.
it's good for us. Anything that's trying to control us, contain us, is going to be gone. Yeah.
So basically, Jen, like like the whole Rockefeller medical industry, the petroleum based. So do you think that's going to be just
Gone.
gone? That
Yes.
would be, and then we're going to go back to natural healing and
Right. Everything. Yeah.
plants and herbs and
I always
essential
see they go back, they keep telling me smaller villages
Mhm.
in the areas where they had them and they tried to annihilate them. And now they're going to see those recreate again, where a community wanted to rely on a community,
Mhm.
independence, self efficient energy, um, working together, you know.
Mhm.
So the community um, on farmers markets and stuff like that, and growth and all that stuff in that way. Yeah.
So then that'll give us a reason to leave our homes and go out instead of staying
Right. Exactly.
because
But
we'll
not
have
only that too, but higher technology. Another field is higher technology, being in technology that's changing and all that stuff, advanced technology, security, a different way. That's
Mhm.
going to change too. But
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, that to me seems ideal if we're all working together. It sounds more like a barter system. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Where
in many
well,
ways, and
mm-hmm,
being sustainable and self-efficient.
mm-hmm, where people help each other and
People can live deep among the
mm-hmm,
woods. People can live, you know, in areas that they've dreamed about living
mm-hmm,
and having, being able to have ideas to make. Well, you've seen where they've had people that are self-sustaining for water and fuel and everything, and then the city comes in and is like, you can't do that. Yes, you can.
right. It makes me think about you've heard the stories of these men who had cars, created cars that run on water, and then they get killed by
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anything that's self-sustaining, they try to
mhm,
annihilate.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's
these
I really I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
bigger mansions and bigger homes and all that stuff, I think that's going to go bye-bye too.
Mm-hmm.
And the stupid cars, because we're not going to be transporting in that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to totally change.
So
And then environmental friendly along with the animals is important.
I think that is important. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I've seen even like maybe I'm more aware of them, but I see like more of a difference with animals, like with dogs.
Hmm.
Like, I feel, I don't know, when I'm walking down the street and I see somebody with a dog, I feel more connected to the dog than the human. Do you ever feel?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so that kind of is interesting. I definitely feel like the animals definitely communicate for sure.
Right.
Somebody,
So, like you said, bring on the real seeds and the real plants and the real stuff. They're going to have to bring all that stuff back.
hmm
Everything.
So I guess I'm just thinking of what can we do to facilitate that? I guess going to local farms, everything we've been talking about.
Right. I mean, there are farmers that have all the original seeds and all that stuff, and
hmm
they plant that stuff, and you just got to drive a little further out of the city to find it.
hmm hmm
Um, so, yeah, I mean, looking for those communities.
And then stick together with your posse,
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, across the board. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think this has been a good session and everything. We've gone over this.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what, like in the next few months, I guess I'm talking about what's going to happen. What do you like?
Well, I mean, the next thing, it's not the months, it's just I'm looking for Jubilee and I'm looking for mortgages, like I've said. I'm not
hmm
looking, I'm looking at things that are peeling the banana back. We have to get
Right.
to the next step.
hmm
Um, that's what I'm seeing. So the
hmm
matrix, like a breakdown,
hmm
witnessing the breakdown of the matrix, um, stuff falling from the sky, in different ways, and just completely stopping, not moving, no motion, things the revealing what is really real, what is not.
hmm
That's the whole thing. They can't just flip it. They got to show you how it got there and
hmm
how it's going to break down.
hmm
So I kept talking about uh, in Antarctica that there was this box that's connected to the matrix.
Okay.
And this whole process of, like, it's like a part of a chip that has to be removed so it can break down of the
Okay.
matrix. So I'm just saying, these cubes or these blocks, there's many reasons why they didn't want us in that area. They're hiding many things, but I'm just telling you, get ready for the breakdown of what the matrix made you think was real and is not.
Right. So basically, all things, more and more things are going to be revealed.
Right.
So, what are the black boxes? What are those black boxes you were talking about?
Well, it's how things hold up that they're showing me spiritly in the
hmm
matrix, how it, like little particles. Matrix is like little particles together and it forms, it seals something together.
hmm
Whole thing. And I was asking them, like, okay, when you look at a physical item or anything like that, it's just they show how this energy is put together and it's molded.
hmm
Almost like a replicator.
That's what I was thinking about when you were talking about that. I made me think of like the replicators and like Stargate. Yeah.
So bearing a witness of how that is formed gets you to identify what kind of world you're living in,
hmm
you know, completely. But then you have the timelines. They have to recognize how timelines are changing. how that
Right.
works. There's so much stuff we have to identify and do research and pay attention what's going on. And it's like going forward, you're stepping forward, and then they're doing the reverse of showing you the difference. So a lot of that hidden knowledge has to come to the front
Mm-hmm.
on that. Yeah.
So those black boxes will be coming to the front. Is that what you
They
mean?
will,
Like
but I believe will be dismantled.
they'll just okay.
And I don't know in the way there's certain regions how it's controlled.
Mm-hmm.
You're already starting to see some things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. It's looking and paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. It's like looking, paying attention, and not believing everything you see, because everything we live in an inverted world, so you have to really use discernment and just stay clear in alignment, and keep your somebody says raise your vibration high enough, things come and reveal themselves to you, which is completely true. Thank you again, divine illumination. There's some really good comments here. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few months and how everything unfolds.
Right.
So what do you think the most important thing for us to do is, besides everything we just talked about?
Identify all the contracts that we've been under from the
Okay.
time that we've been born
Mm-hmm.
to the present age that we are now, and we have to null and void all the contracts
Mm-hmm.
and look at that and recognize that we are a free being making our own decisions, and we never agreed. And I'm talking about here on this realm
Mm-hmm.
and taking charge of that again.
Are you talking? What contracts are you talking about? Are you talking about like our
Marriage contract.
marriage
That's
contracts, birth
another one too.
certificates?
I think is
Uh-huh.
set up in
Mm-hmm.
that process. It's nourished early age, and then it's set up in that process.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a spiritual being wants to be together, then they can make it. It's not anybody's business on that process. It's a
Right.
connection. So I mean, but they used it to tie making money,
Mm-hmm.
finances, obligation, and control.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you look at all the government society, that's what this is about control.
Right.
Well, and then birth certificate, again,
The birth
control.
certificate. Right. Straw man.
I
Yep.
mean, you didn't even get here before you were already obligated to other shit.
I know. That's like nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's being sovereign and taking responsibility for your life and not relying on big government, big pharma, big agriculture, and doing everything yourself. It takes more time, and it's more of an investment, but it's better for all of us if we do that.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
funny. Did I ever tell you that my dad was like the town pharmacist in my hometown?
No.
Yeah, and he was like, he had a doctorate in nutrition. So he was like all about people taking vitamins and being healthy and eating the right things. And he would tell everybody, he was a pharmacist who was telling people not to take drugs,
That's
which
cool.
he was really cool. He had a doctorate in nutrition, and that's kind of what I grew up with. So yeah.
Even our money has, like you're talking about barcodes, everything has a tracking process with it, and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so our cell phones, Social Security, bank accounts, just everything.
everything.
Everything's been imprisoned.
Everything is tracked, and even everything is tracked, and I guess to be as free and as possible.
Right.
Somebody just said, did you see this comment? The barcodes from our foreheads will be removed.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, that would be very nice. So.
We have some great comments here. Yep.
Yeah. So it's good. Well, this has been a very good session.
Yes, Jen, as always, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Got some other things to do this evening, so it's cool. So yeah, we'll do it again.
I love it. All right. And thanks everybody for your comments. This has been great. And cameras in our homes. Yeah. And all the smart devices.
Yeah. That's why we don't watch TV anymore.
Exactly. All right. So thank you so much, Jen, for coming on. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And let's do it again soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.